In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website, and here's how you can get in on the fun. You got to go follow me over on Instagram. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like my good friends Brittany and Lauren and Jilly Bean. So many people are coming in right now. Thank you guys for being here, by the way. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants. You will find the show. Finally, we do have a podcast for this show as well. It is a cool show, you guys. We try to do an entertaining, educational, and uplifting show as well. So go listen to the Jimmy Rants podcast over on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants is going to get pretty deep again. And I don't know if it's just been the time away that I've been contemplating a whole lot more than I normally do. But I just have a lot of things inside this heart that I got to get out. And one of the things that really disturbs me is how many people are hating on themselves. And I see it on a daily basis. If you scroll through Instagram, you just look around online, there's a lot of just ugly stuff being said about people by them. I don't understand this. I don't understand why people end up being their worst critic, their own worst critic, when it comes to their weight and the way that they look. I think we get enough of it from external forces, and I've talked to you guys at great length about the kind of ugliness that I have to deal with pretty much on a daily basis. But I don't talk bad about myself, but there's people out there that do. They look in the mirror and they see a blob. Let's just be honest, and I'm going to be real today, you guys. They look in the mirror and they think, oh my goodness, for as far as I've come, why don't I, and then you fill in the blank. Why don't I have abs that I can see? Why don't I have all of this blob that's in the middle of my body off? I see Lauren is on here. I know Lauren did a post about this yesterday where she posted a picture where she posed herself in a certain way, sucked in her belly, and said, that's what it looks like when you fake it. And then she just said, hey, look at this. This is what it really looks like. And I think there's so much imagery that we have about what we should look like that it ends up getting lost in the shuffle of people having reality about what's actually going on. Can I just behoove you to love where you are right now? Can I just behoove you to stop allowing that negativity to pop in your head about who and what you are, if you are watching this right now, and obviously you are, or listening to it on the podcast or wherever, I want you to commit right now. You got to commit to me, because I'll find you if you don't. Commit to me that you're going to stop with the negative self-talk. How many people would benefit? Everybody would benefit. What is the downside to loving yourself? What is the downside to saying nice things about yourself? Think about all of the ways you talk to yourself. Would you ever talk to your best friend that way? Would you ever say some of the things that you think in your head about yourself? Would you ever say them out loud to someone that you love? No, you would not. And yet it's so easy. It's so easy to fall into the trap of, well, I still don't like all this skin around the middle of my body. It makes me look ugly. What are people going to think about me? And that's another thing. Why do we care a flip about what anybody else thinks? I would love to talk to a psychologist on the Live and La Vida Low Carb show about this. Why do people get so caught up in how other people view them? And I know some of that is age. When I was in my 20s, I wanted to look good. I wanted to look a certain way. I would constantly be doing things. Even when I went to college, I tried to buy clothes that were way out of my financial range, style range, and all of that, simply because I wanted to put forth an image. 40 changed that, by the way. When I turned 40, I didn't give a crap about what you thought about what I looked like. So maybe some of that's at play here, but it's just amazing to me how much of our time we spend trying to appease what other people want us to be and look like, that we lose who we are. We lose our identity. And for me, I'm well beyond that now. I don't care. I just don't. But back to the topic at hand. We beat ourselves up. And I would love to get to the bottom of why. And I think a lot of it stems from, especially those of us that have dealt with weight for pretty much our entire lives, that has become your identity. And so when you are doing something about that thing that has been your identity, what's your new identity? I know there's several people on here watching this right now. You have lost a lot of weight. You have put your body into a lot better place than it's ever been in your entire life. You have always had the identity of, I'm the fat person. And you had to compensate by creating other skills, sense of humor, just being fun, being nice, all of these things. Well, now the weight's gone. What's your identity? And I think that's part of what stems here of why we're our own worst critics. And it's going to sound weird. Stick with me here. It's going to sound weird, but I think the reason we're so critical of ourselves, it's going to seem preposterous. Secretly, deep down inside, we don't want to lose that identity. You don't. I know it seems so wild. No, I don't want to be obese. I don't want to be dealing with fat anymore. I don't want to have that as my badge of who I am. I want to be a new person. And can I tell you from a head stuff standpoint, how incredibly difficult that is when your entire life has been predicated on the mentality of you're the big person? The mentality of your identity is caught up in what your weight is. Now, you can do it. It certainly takes time, and you forge a new identity. But there is this kind of crisis of identity that takes place when you've lost a lot of weight, and then you're trying to figure out, okay, now what? Especially if your goal solely was about weight loss when you went keto or whatever you decided to do. If your sole purpose was only weight loss, what do you do when the weight loss is over? What's your goal then? What is your identity then? I'm getting really deep today, guys, and by design. I sense that people are their own worst critics. They beat themselves up because they've lost 50 pounds, but they need to lose another 50 pounds. So they identify with the 50 they haven't lost rather than identifying with the 50 that they have. They look at their body and they go, oh my gosh, look at all that blob of loose skin mess in the middle of my body. Oh my goodness. People, what are people going to think of me? Oh my goodness. I need to have all that taken care of. Oh my goodness. I think I need to get cut it out. Ah! You know you're thinking that. I can see you right there. You're thinking it right now. And because you think it, don't think that doesn't have an impact on your body. Don't think that you don't have stress that comes from those thoughts. And guys, I'm speaking from personal experience here as much as I am anything. You will have these thoughts that pop in your head that will try to beat you down from the great success that you've experienced. And I would dare say most people who give up on ketogenic, most people who no longer decide to give a crap about their health, whether it's keto or some other modality of eating or lifestyle, most people who give up, the reason they give up is they allow these voices within their cranium to overtake them. And all of that negative nanny talk that's in your head, it manifests itself in the form of stress. That stress can stall your weight loss. And then you think, oh no, keto isn't working anymore. Why am I gaining weight when I'm on a ketogenic diet? And it could have nothing to do with keto at all and everything to do with the stress that you have put on your body because you're freaking out because you don't look perfect. Newsflash, perfection that you're thinking about in your head probably is never going to happen. Can you lose weight on a ketogenic diet? You bet you can. Can you achieve goals if you work hard enough in the gym and do various things to have the physique and the body image that you want? You bet you can. But I think sometimes people aren't willing to put in the work that would get them there. Sometimes people want the easy way out and then they allow these voices to overtake them. I hope this is resonating with somebody today because I just feel like there are some people who they're right on the cusp of being the success that they deserve to be. And they get totally sabotaged by their own head. And I'm not even talking about some of the external voices, like some of the well-meaning friends and family members. This is just you. And if you can't control the noise in your own head, how do you control those external noises? And then when you combine them, you already are a little bit down about how you look and feel and about what you think of your body. And then you get reinforcement from family members and from friends and coworkers who say some similar things to you. Then you play those back in your head and then you speak them again in your own head on a daily basis. Why would you ever stay on that plan that got you there? So I think it's time we celebrate. I think it's time you celebrate that perhaps for the first time in your life, you give a crap. You give a crap about what you're doing in your diet. You give a crap about what is happening in your body. I can tell you at 410 pounds, I didn't give a crap about anything when it came to my health, to my diet. I ate for comfort. I ate because I wanted to. I didn't really think about the consequences of that. And 15 years ago, I made that change where I started giving a crap for the first time in my life. And I still give a crap to this day. Do I have everything worked out in the weight? Nope. Still working on it. And I've talked very openly about it here on Jimmy Rants of all the things that are outside of diet that you can work on. And I'm doing those things. But am I in a better place in my health? You bet I am. I'm able to be on this camera every single day when I'm in my regular routine. Every single day vibrant, energetic, and giving you guys stuff to think about. If I wasn't well, if I was somehow sick, and all of these things that have been said about me, and maybe you could say about yourself, if you think, oh my gosh, I got to get this weight off because I'm not well, how do you feel? What's your energy like? How are you thinking other than the negative thoughts? All of that matters, you guys. Because if things were really going wrong, it would manifest itself in your day-to-day. It would become who and what you are. It would show up. Friends would be like, what's wrong with you? Or are they saying that? They may say what's wrong with you, but it's for a whole nother reason besides your health. But I think we, at the end of the day, have to be our own best advocates. And that means quieting the noise in the head. Because that noise in the head will sabotage you to your very core. Even the best keto person in the world, the person that's the most gung-ho about it, they can be sabotaged by that negative self-talk that happens in their head. And they are their own worst critic when it comes to how they look, when it comes to their body image, all of that stuff. All of it. It's disgusting to me how many people allow that to take place, and yet it has become the norm. And part of the issue here too is people can't audibly hear out loud what's going on in your head. Wouldn't it be interesting if we had an app for that you could stick it next to your head and then it speaks what's going on in your head? People would be shocked about how you talk to yourself. People wouldn't understand why you have those thoughts. And here's the thing too. People look to you, if you've been successful and you've lost some weight and you've gotten healthier eating a ketogenic diet, for example, and people look at you as a hero. They look at you and go, wow, I want to be like them. And then they learn that you say all of these things about yourself. Can you imagine their horror? Oh my gosh, you're where I want to be. And yet you have all these negative things going on. So how do you detach from that? How do you stop those negative thoughts from happening? Well, number one, the negative thoughts are very natural. So I don't think you're going to totally stop them. But I do think you can stop believing them. Here's what happens. People hear the negative thoughts. And trust me, Jimmy Moore has had negative thoughts pop in his head about myself. And the way you deal with it is you realize it's a lie. You realize those things aren't true. And then you set up a foundation of who and what you are. I don't have to explain myself to anybody. I am confident that I'm doing things that are proactive for my health. And that's all I need. I don't need to wallow in the pity of where I am and what my head's telling me. I can let those things go. That is so hard. I will tell you, honestly, that is incredibly difficult. But it's doable, guys. It's doable. You have to take back control, not only of your own health, which I've talked about very often, but your own mind. Take back control of your mind. Don't let those negative thoughts pervade. And when they come on, acknowledge them. Okay, that's interesting. Thank you for letting me know. I'm going to go back to loving myself now, but thank you for letting me experience that just for a flash. Thank you, brain. And this is how you can overcome being your own worst critic when it comes to how you look and your weight and your body image. I just had to get this off my chest today, guys. So I hope you enjoyed that. And now let's see what you guys have to say. Welcome in, welcome in. Thanks for being here. Hello from Norway. Thank you, Frisk. Appreciate you being here. Brittany says, talking to me again. Hey, I hope so. I'm trying during this time away. I mean, it would be so easy for me to do more practical stuff about keto and fasting, but I'm all into the head stuff right now. I don't know what it is, if it's just the time away, Brittany, or just, I don't know what it is. Maybe I have more time to think and contemplate. But all of these things are on my heart and mind. And I've had them in my heart for a long time, wanting to talk about them, but now seems the appropriate time to get them out. Lauren says, self-love and positive self-talk is a daily practice you have to be consistent with. Lauren, you are one of the leaders. You guys go follow Keto Coach Lauren, because she's one of the leaders in this, what I'm talking about here today. And Lauren will be the first to tell you, she still deals with a lot of this head stuff. She's coming on the low-carb cruise here, coming up in a couple of weeks. We're leaving, and she's going to do a talk on the cruise all about this very issue of body dysmorphia and self-love. And I'm excited about that, Lauren, to hear what you have to say and share. But it is such a real thing. And people would look at you, Lauren, and say, oh my gosh, look at her. She's got the body I want. She has lost a lot of weight. She's this active mom, blah, blah, blah. And then they don't realize in the day-to-day the head stuff you still deal with. And you try to make it known. You say, hey, look, guys, this is how I feel. So that's why I love following your work. And yet people will say, well, you've got it all figured out and I just can't get there. And so anyway, I think you epitomize what I'm talking about here today. The whole mama, it's like you're doing a keto altar call. We're going to sing 36 verses of Just As I Keto. Just as I keto. Oh, so that's kind of sacrilegious, but I just did it anyway. Brittany, yes, weight loss journey is so mentally challenging. I used to hide behind my fat, but like you said, now what? Yeah. It's easy to hide behind fat. I was 400 plus pounds. I didn't care. Yeah, people would stare at you and all that stuff, but I didn't care. Why do I care now? Why would I care now that I have lost weight and am ostensibly in a better place, body image wise, weight wise, health wise? Why would I suddenly care now when I'm healthier than when I was obese, morbidly obese, and didn't care at all? Why can't we take that head that we had of not caring when we were bigger? Why can't we take that mentality of, okay, whatever, and put it in our head now at the thinner, healthier version of ourselves? Again, this is a very fascinating psychological kind of experiment to think out loud. I would love to talk to someone about why do we care so much about what other people think of us, and why does our brain try to sabotage us and getting us right back where we are or were before? I do think it does come down to that identity of being your weight. It's hard not to. I was always the fat kid. I was the fat kid and was made fun of from being the fat kid and was beat up from being the fat kid and made fun of and abused. Let's just put it that way. And so that doesn't come without consequence. And maybe that's part of what it is. Maybe in your head, because you've always been that ostracized person, that you have convinced yourself that you deserve to be wallowing in your pity. And you deserve to have this kind of negativity happening in your head constantly, because that's what was reinforced when you're a kid. Getting deep, guys, getting real deep. But I think it's true. I think it's very true. Then hitting a size I'm comfortable with, but thinking I need to lose more for other people to think I'm successful. Oh, Brittany. When I first lost the 180 pounds in 2004, I was still 230 pounds, but I was down from 410. And I had people that said, okay, yeah, but you still don't have six-pack abs. And so I would reinforce in my head, oh my gosh, I need to keep going until I get six-pack abs. I allowed other people's expectations of me to dictate how I felt about myself. And then my brain took over from there and said, yeah, see, you ain't done nothing yet. You're still 230 pounds, way overweight. I'm 6'3", by the way, way overweight for your height and way too much weight on the body. You look ugly in the middle of your body. And all of these things started popping in my head. I'd lost 180 pounds. You're never going to fully appease anyone's expectation of you, including your own expectation. You're never going to appease those people. So in light of that fact, and it is a fact, Jack, in light of the fact that you're never going to make people happy no matter what you do, how about starting to love where you are? How about celebrating how far you've come? Am I where I want to be in my weight? Obviously not. But am I going to wallow in the pity of, oh, I should be X weight? Oh, I should be doing this. I should be that. I think that is a very unhealthy mental state to be in. And the moment you allow what other people think of you to dictate how you act, and then by extension of that, you replaying it in your head over and over and over again like some Groundhog Day movie of the worst kind. Why? Why do we do that? We allow other people to influence us to the point that we become so drastic that we're willing to do anything to get that weight and body image that we think will make other people happy. And I've been there. I have so been there. And this is what causes people to do drastic things. Oh, well, if intermittent fasting is good, let me fast for like 30 days. Not that fasting in and of itself is a bad thing, but if you're doing it with the motivation of I've got to appease what other people's expectations are of what I should look like and what my weight should be, I don't want to be there. I don't want what other people expect me to look and be to dictate what I do to get there. No, not going to happen. Lauren says, so true, the mind is such a powerful tool. And both ways, Lauren. Both ways. I think you can allow your mind to go in a good direction of you're pumping yourself up and you're giving yourself self-love and you're constantly reminding yourself of the successes. And then it could go the other way. You could constantly say, yeah, you've lost 50 pounds, but you still got a lot, about 50 more pounds fat. So get with it. We say these things to ourselves. We say them very openly. I think about all of the ways that I have beat my own self up, and you have too, by the way, with all of this stuff in the head. Can we commit to controlling that stuff? It's gonna be there. Trust me. 2019, Jimmy Moore still deals with the negative stuff in his head. But you know how I deal? I acknowledge that it's there, and I realize it's a lie from the pit of hell. There's this great song, I'm trying to remember the artist's name, but it's a Christian song called Fear, He is a Liar. And, what is his name? I can't think of his name. Zach Williams, I think is his name. Anyway, Fear, He is a Liar. And it's talking about when you hear voices and when you have all of these things speaking to you and ostensibly in your head, all of those things are lies. And they're meant to scare you into doing things drastic. And I don't think we need to care about doing things drastic. Do your thing. Do what it takes to be what you were meant to be. And if it means you still have the little blob around the middle of your body, so be it. It's better than being dead. It's better than having some kind of a disease that you have to now take medications for, maybe have surgeries for. It's better than where you were before. I think we forget from whence we came sometimes. And the moment you forget from whence you came is the moment that you allow these things to pervade in your head. And when they pervade, they make you have a blind spot to where you came from, and you start comparing yourself like people did for me when I hit 230. Okay, now you hit 230, you need to be 190 and you need to have 6-pack abs and you need to go work out and you need to. And I heard all of that stuff. And quite frankly, more real talk, guys. I think the reason why I started gaining back some weight was the stress that was brought on from all of this expectation that people had for me. All right, great. You're no longer 400 pounds. You're 230. You're still too fat. And I heard that stuff. And I forgot from whence I came. I think that started some of that. Not realizing I still had damaged body from all those years of sugar and refined grains and Coca-Cola and all that stuff. Which is why the 6 months off is going to be glorious, because I get to quiet all that chatter from the external forces, and it's just me. And if I'm not hearing it reinforced from the external forces, and it's just me and Christine, and we're just chilling like a villain for 6 months, doing nothing, not exposed to anything on social media, not having any other voices except the ones that are coming here, I think I can manage that tiger. And I think all of those voices in the head will calm, because there won't be this constant reinforcement that then I replay in my head over and over and over again. And what kind of impact will that have physiologically, mentally, obviously right away, but physiologically in the body? I don't know. We're going to see. I'm excited to see, though. Why don't you just say my name at this point, says Brittany. Brittany, I'm speaking to you again. It's awesome. Everything you're saying is 100% true. Switching from living to eating, or living to eat to eating to live can be hard. Oh, it is. And I think when you start caring about what you put in your mouth, it is a glorious thing. Can you imagine how many people's lives would be radically changed for the better if they simply cared about what they put in their mouth and eating to live, perhaps for the first time in their lives? It'd be pretty glorious. Temple dietitian, yes, so true. Thank you for that. Hashtag loving yet challenging, says Brittany. So, yay. Temple says, guard your heart. Always. Always. And I think we allow other people to dig so deep into our psyche that it penetrates right there. And I for the life of me, don't understand why we allow people to have that kind of control over us. And I suppose it's a personality trait as well, that people tend to be followers. A lot of people tend to be followers. And so if somebody says something to you like that, you take it to heart and you believe it because you're a follower. Yeah, it's a bad place to be if you allow that to happen. Keto Kenya Jean says, hello from Kenya. I've lost 140 pounds on keto. That is awesome. And realizing how now the real journey is in the mind. Yes, Jean. Always, always, always remember from whence you came. You have accomplished something that most people will never, ever accomplish in their life. And here's the other thing. Those people that are naturally thin, they don't get this. They don't understand why you just can't eat whatever you want and manage manage your weight, because that's what they do. But they're naturally thin. They don't understand the amount of will, the amount of head stuff that we as people dealing with weight have had to deal with. They don't get it. And they'll never get it. At least not from this standpoint. Maybe some other aspect of their life they could get it somewhat. But from the standpoint of how you look and being your own worst critic about your weight and your body image, they will never, ever, ever understand what you're going through. And those are the people that are well-meaning in your life that will tell you, well, just eat a balanced diet, eat eat a little, not too much, not too little, not too much. They'll be the people that tell you that kind of nonsense. Oh, just watch your calories, everything will be okay, because that's what they do, because their bodies naturally do that. It's kind of an interesting standpoint, but congratulations, Gene. That's awesome. Keto Journey 18, now all eyes are on you from people who'd love to see you fail, and it's in our heads, though. Yes. Oh, preach, Keto Journey. Especially when I started putting myself out there in 2005, blogging, and then podcasting in 2006, and then social media and all the other places. When you are a keto leader, or you're putting yourself out there a little more, identifying with the keto message or whatever message, but I'm just using keto since that's my space. There is this expectation level that you start putting in your own head of, I've got to be perfect. I've got to look the part. If I don't look perfect, people are going to think keto is a failure. And I'm going to go back to Dr. John McDougall, that interview I talked about on yesterday's Jimmy Rants. And he made a comment of half of the vegans are fat and sick. And he made the comment about, you're not representing veganism very well because of how you look. And I'm like, you just gave a neurosis to all those people that are dealing probably with insulin resistance that a ketogenic diet could help with. You just gave them a neurosis about, oh, well, I need to do all the things I can do. I need to get more and more drastic in order to get and look the part. You don't have to look anyway for anybody. You don't. You be you. And if that means you still have weight on your body, love yourself at that higher weight. If that means you're not going to ever attain that six-pack abs, love your body where you're at. Appreciate how far you've come. And I know how hard it is. It's very hard, especially when you're a keto celebrity. I hate that, by the way. I don't really identify as that, but people recognize your name. And they have this expectation level of, oh, you're supposed to be fill in the blank. I'm supposed to be 190 pounds with six-pack abs. I'm supposed to not have fat in the middle of my body. I'm supposed to be. No, I'm not. I am who I am. Deal with it. What you see is what you get. If I don't add value to your life, then go away. I'm okay with that. But if I do add value to your life, thanks for sticking around, and I'm glad you're here. I'm fired up today, you guys, and I'm on vacation, so... Val says, do it for you and not for others. You are worth it. Val, that preaches. Thank you for that. Heather on ketones, yes, what other people think of you is none of your business, and it's all in your head most of the time. Heather, I think we hear things, and trust me, I've talked about this a lot. I get negativity on a daily basis. Some YouTube comment, a Facebook comment. It was Instagram yesterday that I got some kind of an ugly comment, and I can delete and block, but that doesn't stop my eyes from having seen the comment. And when I see the comment, then it replays in the head. It's like the worst Groundhog Day episode ever. All of this stuff. And I have to work hard to not let that impact me. And let's be honest, guys. If you get negativity, it impacts you. Even if you say you don't let it bother you, it bothers you. It does. And it's come to the point where there's a lot of people, they're so triggered by that they get off social media altogether. They don't even look at it. They don't even want to mess with having that exposure to that negativity. And I don't blame them. I have so wanted to pull that trigger, and maybe this 6 months off, maybe during that time, I might realize that I need to do the same. Now, don't think I'm going to quit Jimmy Rants. And I'll tell you who does this well, because she's triggered as well. Maria Emmerich. I love Maria to death. but she is so sensitive to the comments of other people. She will never read a review of her books. She never reads any comments. Her husband deals with it. Her husband goes on there and deletes and blocks people, responds to people making comments, blah, blah, blah. But she talked to me when we were in Italy a couple weeks ago. She told me very openly about all the negativity that they say, because her husband Craig will tell her they make fun of her because she's too thin, and claim that she's anorexic. They make fun of her because she has 2 adopted children that are black. I mean, they say some of the most ugly, vile things to her, and she is extremely sensitive and tries to guard against it, and has her husband do that. But not everybody has somebody that can be a hedge. Not everybody can deal or have someone deal with this kind of stuff, but it's there. And so in light of that, is the answer to flee? I don't think so. I think what we're doing here on Jimmy Rants is adding value to a lot of people's lives. I don't want to stop that. But in order to get to this, I got to get through the muckety muck of those things that are said in a comment that then come in here and then are on constant replay until I deal with them appropriately to make them go away. This is the reality of living and being online in 2019. It is. Heather says, getting back on track was miserable when I was doing it with other people in my head versus being happy doing it for me. Oh, Heather, when you do it for yourself and you stop worrying about what other people think of you, it is such freedom. You almost feel literal tension coming off of your body when you stop caring about what other people think. But then at that point, you have to undo all of that replay of Groundhog Day in your head. You have to undo all of that. And you have to be confident and bold in why you're doing what you're doing. And it's possible. It's very possible. But I'm going to tell you, if you're hearing this today and you're wanting to do this, it's going to be extremely difficult. But difficult doesn't mean don't do it. Difficult just means, all right, you're going to have to work a little bit at it. But once you work at it and you learn to kind of deal with that in the day-to-day, the freedom that comes from that, the tension being relieved from your body is so incredibly glorious. Jen says, I need to hear this. I'm so down on myself right now. Jen, you're not alone. This is the other thing I want you guys watching this here today. If you're watching it live on Instagram, on the replay, if you're watching it on YouTube, you're listening on the Jimmy Rants podcast, I want you to know you are not alone in this. This is real life. This is what living in the day-to-day, post-weight loss, post-giving a crap about your health for perhaps the first time in your life, this is what it's like for everybody. And I know scrolling through Instagram, it's very tempting to say, oh my gosh, that person's got it all figured out. Oh my gosh, this person's got it all figured out. Newsflash, none of us do. Think about the person you idolize the most in the keto space. Think about it. You've got their name. You've got who they are. You're looking in your mind's eye right now. You see their image. They have issues with this head stuff. They do. The best person you could possibly think of still deals with this stuff. But what separates them from you is they have learned to compartmentalize it and to deal with it in a healthy way. Doesn't stop it from happening, doesn't stop the negative thoughts from popping in their head, but it does show you that it's possible to overcome it. And especially those of us that are in the limelight. I mean, I don't know if I just have like a target on me or what, but I seem to be targeted a whole lot more than a lot of the other keto leaders. And it could be because I still have the weight. It could be because I rant every day. And my voice has been out there for many years. I don't know what it is, but I seem to attract a lot more of that than most people. And I'm okay with that. I've somewhat learned to deal with it, but it's still a work in progress. And I've been out here 15 years doing this, and it's still a work in progress. But the good news is I don't allow those things to wallow in my own head where I become my own worst critic. I've got enough critics of me without being my own worst critic about my weight and my body image and even some people, my health. They'll say all those things for me. I don't have to keep repeating them in my head. My favorite uplifting song is Mercy Me's Flawless. Oh, I love that song, Val. Go look these up, you guys, on YouTube. They're pretty awesome songs. Jean says, I lost 140 pounds on keto with still some way to go and judged myself. I'm finally on a self-love journey and loving myself for me and not society. That's the way to do it. George, what's up, buddy? This keto thing is more than just another diet for me. It is about better overall health. I thought I just wanted to lose weight and discovered a healthier way to live. Mental, emotional, spiritual. Shalom. Yeah, it definitely changes so many aspects. And this is the other thing. How much of our diet led us down this path that our brains weren't working well? Our old diet I'm talking about. And your brains weren't working well. And so when you go keto, it starts working better. But then some of the habits from your brain not working well are still there. You have to retrain your brain. You have to realize that some of those things that drove you to eat crappy garbage, those habits are still there. Even though from a physiological perspective, your brain is operating a whole lot better on the ketones, even though all of the things have gotten better, from a physiological perspective, the habits and the mental stuff that you had to deal with when you didn't have a brain that worked at optimal level, they're still there. So you have to retrain your brain somewhat. And that can be difficult as well. You add value to my life. Thank you, Patty. I appreciate that. I work hard on bringing content that I think is relevant. And again, it would be so super easy for me to just sit here and tell you practical stuff about keto and cholesterol and fasting and whatever. I like doing this deep stuff because this gets to the heart of why people struggle. This gets to the heart of where people are in their lives. I think I'm talking directly to some of you right now. And that's good. That's really good. I want to do that. I want to be someone that can be that encourager in your life. I want to be someone that will challenge you to do things and think about things in a different way that maybe you haven't thought about before. And that's what I'm trying to do here. People can be so cruel. Oh, Downtown Vapors, you have no idea. You have no idea. But yes, they can. Jean says, I was scared to start my Instagram keto page due to fear of haters out there, but I decided no more fear of society if it helps someone out. Guys, it would be easy for me, still having weight on the body, to go hide. I have nothing to prove to anybody anymore. I've been extremely successful at selling books about keto. I've been extremely successful at podcasting. I have a name that people recognize. It would be so easy for me to just back away from all this and just go live my life and not have to deal in the day-to-day. But that's not my heart. My heart is helping people. My heart is to be that encouragement for other people because they're not getting it. Can you imagine if everybody in the keto space took on the mentality of encouraging their fellow keto people out there? How much would we grow even more? I mean, keto is all the rage right now, but how much more would keto penetrate and have sustainability if everybody started encouraging? If you're not encouraging other people and you're not providing this kind of happy face, uplifting kind of message to other people in your work, and it doesn't matter which size of your audience is. If you have 2 people or 2 million people, you need to be encouraging other people. Because quite frankly, I'm seeing a lot of discouragement being put out there by well-meaning people in the keto space. They're discouraging people because of expectations of, well, you're not keto if you're not doing this, you're not. I think we need to be that encouragement to other people. It's not just my job to do that. It's all of our jobs. And so if you're watching this on Instagram, you're watching it on YouTube, you're listening to it on the Jimmy Rants podcast, I want you to be that purveyor of change. I want you to say, you know what? I'm going to make it my life's mission to encourage other people on this journey. Because quite frankly, most of us have been through that early part of this journey and we had no encouragement from anybody. Nobody. And so be that encouragement to other people. Brittany says, I think when I get my head straight, I'll make that leap I've been waiting for. Yes, Brittany, you're right there. And I think you're exactly right. That once the head stuff kind of comes under control, it won't go away. I will warn you of that now. I've been doing this 15 years. I still get the head stuff. But it's how you deal with the head stuff that will, like you said, give you that leap. Jen says, OMG, I just posted a pity party about how I'm sucking at life. It looks like everyone else is winning. I've gained and lost the same 25 pounds 10 times, and now I'm over it. Yeah. People do that to themselves, Jen. And I get it. It's very human nature, by the way, to feel like, oh my gosh, everybody else has it figured out. Why can't I get my shiz together, as the kids say these days? And it's disgusting that we allow ourselves to get to that mental place. Let it go. Let it go. Because all those other people, they ain't got their shiz together, I promise you. They don't. That's your next book. Retrain Your Brain, says McCall. Retrain your brain. Yeah, I mean, I would like to do something on some of this mindset stuff someday. And my publisher would publish anything that I wanted to put out. But yeah, I do think all of this kind of negativity that people wallow in, it's real, guys. It will bring you down faster than chocolate cake would. It would. I think we eat carbs in the form of emotional stress on a daily basis. You're really, really good keto, but you eat a whole lot of carbs when it comes to the emotional distress that you put on yourself because of what your head's telling you. And I want you to think of it in that way. When you get a negative thought, you're eating a hot fudge sundae. When you get something said about you and you allow that to pervade in your mind, you just had a pizza. And I want you to view it in that way. Because physiologically, the cortisol response, which then raises your blood sugar and raises your insulin, is exactly the same as eating crappy garbage. So I tell you to get rid of the crappy garbage, and you have. I want you to get rid of the crappy emotion stuff because it's sabotaging you just as much as the crappy garbage. It feels so good to see the progress of friends that have followed me into the keto lifestyle. Yes, Downtown Vapors. That is the pay dirt. That is what keeps me motivated, knowing, and as much negativity as I get on a daily basis, I have to say, I get far more positivity as well. People that write to me and say, hey, I read Keto Clarity. It changed my life forever. Whoa. Something I created changed someone else's life. And there's gratitude for that. There's gratefulness for that. There's a sense of legacy, so to speak, from that. So what's your legacy? Is your legacy where you're your own worst critic and you allow it to impact how you feel about your weight, make you impact how you feel about your body image, make you think that you're a lot less successful than you really were? Let me give you a sports analogy. Let's imagine that your favorite sports team is winning 34-17, a football game, 34-17, and yet you expected to score 60 points because you've been doing it all season and you only had 34. Are you losing? No, you're not losing. Are you winning as big as you thought you would? No, but you're still winning. Celebrate winning. Are you to 60 points yet? No. Are you ahead of the team behind you? Yes. Translation, winning. Winning, winning, winning. Just celebrate winning. Don't celebrate unfulfilled, unreasonable expectations. Don't wallow in that you haven't hit that. Celebrate where you've come from and how you are winning. Does that preach to anybody? What's your thoughts on coconut cream? It allowed me to get into super deep keto, but the carbs worry me even though they were BPA free. That's a general question. Please write to me, Jimmy at llvlc.com, or a private message. When I'm on a topic on Jimmy Rants, we don't really go off track here. But there's no such thing as super deep keto. Don't fall for that nonsense. Preach it, says Val. Yes, you're winning. It doesn't matter how you win, you're winning. It doesn't matter what you think you should be doing, getting to 60 points in the game, you're winning. And if you take nothing else from this Jimmy Rants here today, but this, listen to me loud, listen to me proud. If you started caring about what you put in your mouth to eat, if you started seeing some semblance of success, either in weight loss or health changes in your health markers, if you've done anything to make a positive step in the right direction in your health, don't you dare let anyone else take away the success that you've seen. And really, don't you dare let this tell you that you've been anything but a great success in your weight and health journey. Because you have. Even when you have work still left to do, it's not about what's in front of you. It's about how far have you come. And if you look back, and it's way back, trust me, 410 pound Jimmy Moore on 3 prescription medications for high cholesterol, high blood pressure, and breathing problems, he is in Mexico. He's so far behind. And the version of Jimmy Moore in 2019 is a far healthier one. And I've talked about this before, not to be morbid, but I'm supposed to be dead. My brother Kevin died at 41 years old, and I'm 47. I'm supposed to be dead. He and I were basically the same person when he was a lot stupider than I was, but physiologically, both morbidly obese men, both dealing with stuff in our health. And I made the change. He did not. And he died at 41. I'm not that guy anymore. Am I still overweight? Yep. Do I take any drugs for medical conditions? Nope. Do I feel good on a daily basis other than a little sciatica pain? Yep. Do I have lots of energy? Yep. Does my brain work really well? Well, that's to be determined. Christine will tell you I'm a dumbass sometimes, but yes, my brain works well. It does. So, what are you going to do with this message here today? And I know it was a deep one, guys, but that's my role, that's my jam, that's what I like to do, is make you think. And so the bottom line in this Jimmy Rants, why are we our own worst critics when it comes to weight and body image? And hopefully by now, in this portion of the show, you realize you don't need to be. You realize you need to deal with it. And you realize that it could be the reason why you're being sabotaged in your own best effort to be keto. Don't allow it to happen. Nope. Don't allow it. And the moment that you allow that kind of stuff to pervade and become a part of your psyche is the moment that you're about to give it all up. Right at the moment when you're actually succeeding in spades. You're doing better than you ever thought you would possibly be. And guys, the thing about keto that I love is there is no deprivation. There is no hunger. There is great tasting food. There's all of this great stuff that happens in your health and in your weight, that it's happy along the way. And I see my friends from Keto Chow just got here. How easy is it to make this shake from Keto Chow, knowing that you're getting healthy nutrition in there that tastes good too? By the way, Keto Chow, I have been making for my friends that have joined us on this trip here in Myrtle Beach this week. I made them the chocolate peanut butter, made like a little mousse pudding thing. And the eggnog, the lady of the family loves eggnog, so I made her some eggnog with it. And even the kids, there was two, a 12-year-old and a 14-year-old, they have been loving it so much. So you've been the hero of my dessert making this week here on my vacation. So thank you for that. But guys, don't let it affect you. That's all the time I have for Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, go and check it out live. I'm on Instagram at LivinLowCarbMan, LivinLowCarbMan. You can also catch it on YouTube or on replay, but on YouTube after that, type in Jimmy Rants. I'm running out of time, that's why I'm speeding up. Jimmy Rants, just type in a keyword search. You will find the show on YouTube. Finally, on iTunes and Stitcher, Jimmy Rants Podcast. All of these links, JimmyRants.com. And yes, I went long today. We'll see you soon. Bye.